Welcome to the channel. When you think of East Asia, it's easy to lump together China, Japan, and Korea, three countries rich in tradition, innovation, and influence. But while they share some surface-level similarities, the truth is, each of these nations has walked a completely different path. From how they speak and write, to how they celebrate love, worship, and even dress. Today, we're diving into 7 lesser-known but fascinating differences between these three cultural giants. Let's get into it. Let's start with the one thing people rarely talk about: genetic history. Although Chinese, Korean, and Japanese people may look similar to the outside eye, their ancestral roots are quite different. The Chinese population is incredibly diverse, especially across regions. Northern Han Chinese, for example, show more Central Asian and Mongolic DNA influences, while Southern Han Chinese are closer genetically to Southeast Asian groups. Koreans are believed to be more genetically homogeneous, with strong ancestral links to ancient populations of Manchuria and the Korean peninsula. Japanese people descend from 2 distinct ancient populations: the Jomon, indigenous hunter-gatherers, and the Yayoi, rice farmers from the Asian mainland. This mix gives Japan its unique genetic profile, different from both China and Korea. So while they may share some traits, each population has a distinct biological and historical story. Let's address another often misunderstood topic: physical features. In China, Japan, and Korea, having pale or white skin is a common beauty standard. Historically, pale skin was associated with nobility and higher social status, as it indicated a life away from laboring in the sun. Culturally, this preference has persisted, influencing modern beauty trends and products. Though stereotypes are unreliable, there are observable regional tendencies. Chinese people, particularly in the north, often have taller statures and sharper facial bone structures, while Southern Chinese tend to have more delicate features due to mixing with Southeast Asian groups. Koreans are often associated with broader cheekbones, smaller eyes, and flatter facial profiles. Plastic surgery is also far more common in Korea than in China or Japan, which influences beauty trends. Japanese people may have softer jawlines and rounded features, shaped by centuries of isolation and specific historical migrations. It's important to say, beauty standards vary within each country, and none of these features define a person's value. Next, let's talk about language. Mandarin Chinese is a tonal language. A single syllable like ma can mean mother, horse, scold, or hemp depending on pitch. It has relatively simple grammar but complex pronunciation and characters. Korean is not tonal. Its sentence structure is similar to Japanese, subject, object, verb, and it uses particles to indicate grammatical roles. Vocabulary is heavily influenced by Chinese, but the pronunciation and usage are unique. Japanese has 3 writing systems, we'll cover that next, and it shares some vocabulary roots with Chinese and Korean. However, it's also non-tonal and uses honorifics that express politeness levels, deeply embedded in Japanese society. While they all sound totally different, interestingly, many Chinese origin words exist in both Japanese and Korean, especially in academic or official vocabulary. Writing systems. Now this is where things get really interesting. China uses Chinese characters, called Hanzi, which are logograms. Each symbol represents a meaning, not just a sound. Japan uses a mix, kanji, which are borrowed Chinese characters, and 2 syllabaries, hiragana for native Japanese words, and katakana for foreign words and names. Korea, on the other hand, uses Hangul, a unique alphabet created in the 15th century. It's scientifically designed, logical, and easy to learn. In fact, UNESCO once praised Hangul as the most efficient writing system ever created. What's amazing is that Japan still uses thousands of Chinese characters, while Korea has mostly abandoned them in favor of Hangul, making it far more accessible for modern learners. Religion and spirituality. You might be surprised by how differently each nation approaches religion. In China, the dominant philosophies are Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. Many people are not formally religious, but they follow traditional practices like ancestor worship and temple visits. The communist government has also greatly shaped public attitudes toward organized religion. In Korea, Christianity and Buddhism are major influences. South Korea has one of the largest Christian populations in Asia. Prayer houses, megachurches, and religious activism are common in daily life. Japan, meanwhile, blends Shinto, its native spiritual practice, with Buddhism. Religion is less about belief and more about rituals, like visiting shrines, celebrating seasonal festivals, and honoring ancestors. So while spirituality runs deep across all three, how it's practiced and how visible it is differs dramatically. Marriage customs. Let's move to something more personal, marriage traditions. In China, weddings are usually large family events with banquets, tea ceremonies, and red-themed attire to symbolize luck. Parents play a huge role in matchmaking, especially in rural areas or among wealthier families. In Korea, you'll often see a mix of traditional hanbok ceremonies and modern Western-style weddings. Family involvement is strong, and social expectations around class and education often influence partner choice. Japan's weddings tend to be more reserved, blending Shinto rituals with hotel banquets. Japanese culture emphasizes modesty and etiquette, and gift-giving follows strict, ceremonial guidelines. Despite modernization, family approval and tradition still matter deeply in all three societies, even if the way they're expressed has changed. Finally, let's talk fashion, both traditional and modern. In China, traditional clothing like the qipao, also known as cheongsam or hanfu, is seeing a resurgence among young people who want to reconnect with cultural pride. Modern Chinese fashion is trend-driven and rapidly changing, especially in cities like Shanghai and Chengdu. Korean fashion is globally famous thanks to K-pop and K-dramas. Think oversized sweaters, clean aesthetics, and meticulous styling. Seoul is one of the trend-setting capitals of Asia. Japanese fashion ranges from minimalist chic to wild subcultures like Harajuku streetwear. Traditional kimonos are still worn on special occasions, but modern Japanese fashion often mixes Western pieces with deep-rooted cultural flair. What's remarkable is how all three countries are redefining cultural identity through clothing, blending the old with the new in their own unique ways. So, while China, Korea, and Japan might look similar on the surface, they each carry distinct histories, philosophies, languages, and aesthetics that set them far apart. Whether it's the way they speak, the gods they worship, or the clothes they wear, each country reflects a different worldview shaped by centuries of unique experiences. Which of these differences surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's as fascinated by global cultures as you are. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.